ترنسلیتر کلاس شما این کجا بودید؟ کلا ایران بودید شما؟
نه همه جا بودیم
همه جا بودید؟ فارسی رو بهتر از ما صحبت میکنید
بیشتر ایران بودم
And the others, you don't know anything in Persian?
No.
No? You?
Just me.
Just me. No problem. I will teach in Persian and you can translate in Arabic to other
No, I
speakers.
can't speak
You can speak Arabic. Okay, let me start with talking about the muscle physiology. I'm going to talk about the skeletal muscle physiology and the smooth muscle physiology. As you know, now before talking about starting our class, let me talk about the references for the exam. The first one here is the Guyton and Hall textbook of medical physiology. This is your reference for the exam. And if you want to study more about the muscle physiology, you can use Walter F. Boron Medical Physiology. This is a very good book in the physiology. The best book in the physiology, it is written by Walter Boron. But the text for reference for our exam is the Guyton and Hall Medical Physiology. What is the function of muscles in our body? Do you know anything about the muscles?
Sorry.
The Persian one.
What's your question?
Can you talk anything about the skeletal muscles? What is the function of muscles in our body?
I think movement.
For movement,
And shape.
And to give the
here, give the shape, and you know that muscle, the definition for the muscle is that it is a kind of contractile tissue. Contractile tissue for generation of the force or movement. And you know that the muscles, skeletal muscles in our body, they are attached to the bones by the tendon. They can transfer the force generated by the muscles to the tendon and by the tendon to the bones so they can cause movement in our body. So for movement we need proper skeletal muscles. And the muscles in our body, they are divided into three main types: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and also smooth muscles. There are some differences, or we can say we have several differences between the three types of muscles in our body. You can see that the skeletal and cardiac muscles are striated. You know that they are divided into sarcomeres. Here we have Z disc, and the area that is located between two Z discs, it is called sarcomere. So here we have sarcomeric structure in the cardiac and skeletal muscle, but we do not have any striation in the smooth muscles. By the controlling, regarding to the controlling mechanism or contraction, the skeletal muscle can be controlled by the voluntarily signal. We can send the signal from our brain, voluntarily signals to the skeletal muscles, and then we can control the contraction. But in the cardiac and in the smooth muscle, we cannot control contraction by the voluntarily signals. As cardiac muscles, they are mainly controlled by the autonomic nervous system, by the parasympathetic and sympathetic system. A stimulation of the sympathetic system can increase heart rate and contractility of the heart. A stimulation of the parasympathetic can decrease heart rate, and to a lesser extent it can decrease cardiac contractility. Parasympathetic is important in decreasing heart rate, not contractility. Is it okay or not? Smooth muscles, they can be controlled by different kinds of stimuli. We can control by the stretch. You know that any kind of stretch in the gastrointestinal tract, presence of the food, it can cause direct contact stimulation. A stretch of the muscle, so it can cause contraction. Here, A smooth muscle can be controlled by different kind of hormones in our body. For example, insulin, other kind of hormones in our body. They can control muscle relaxation and contraction. Here in the smooth muscle, we have relaxation and contraction. But here in the skeletal muscle, we have contraction of the skeletal muscle. A smooth muscle, they can be controlled by the local chemical substances. For example, the level of oxygen in our body, in our blood, can control contraction of the blood vessels. In the blood vessels, we have a smooth muscle. Higher amount of oxygen will cause contraction. Higher amount of carbon dioxide can cause relaxation because we need higher amount of blood circulation to the organs in our body. Skeletal muscles, they are important as we said for controlling of the movement, voluntarily movement of the bones. They are important for controlling of breathing cycle. You know that one of the most important muscle for breathing is the diaphragm. And it is a kind of a skeletal muscle and it can be controlled by the phrenic nerve. Okay? Contraction of the diaphragm can cause going downward and it can increase the volume of the lung and then it can cause flowing of the air from the atmosphere to the lung. And also skeletal muscles, they are important in returning of the venous blood. It means that, you know that we have higher amount of blood in the venous system, in the veins. Okay? By contraction of the muscles, for example, soleus muscle, gastrocnemius muscle, they can cause pressuring, squeezing the veins, and it can help backward current of the blood from periphery to the heart. It is called venous return, and the venous return is the most important factor for controlling cardiac contraction, cardiac output. Whenever venous return increases, it can increase cardiac output. And when venous return decreases, it can decrease cardiac output. So the most important factor for controlling of the cardiac output is the venous return. Here you can see the structure of the muscle. You know that muscles by the tendon, they are attached to the bones. And each muscle, around the muscle we have connective tissue, it is called epimysium. Each muscle mainly composed of many structures, it is called fascicle. So each muscle composed of some fascicles. Around the fascicle we have connective tissue, it is called perimysium. And each fascicle composed of muscle fiber. Muscle fiber is the muscle cell. Is it okay or not? Kudu. Fascicle, fascicle. Here you can see the fascicles. This is one muscle. It is composed of many fascicles, and each fascicle, this is one fascicle, composed of muscle fiber. The muscle fiber, there are muscle cells. And each muscle fiber, as you can see, they are composed of many myofibrils. Okay? Each myofibrils, they are composed of many repetitive units. It is called sarcomere. Sarcomere is a unit that is located between two Z discs. Each muscle fiber, I said, it is mainly composed of several hundreds to several thousand myofibrils, and each myofibril composed of something about 1,500 thick filaments or myosin filaments, and twice of that, something about 3,000 actin filaments. Is it okay or not? Each muscle fiber, around the muscle fiber we have plasma membrane. It is called sarcolemma. Around all cells in our body we have plasma membrane. Without plasma membrane,